everyone. Today I'm going to talk about some bronzers that I found are really good for women like me who have really fair skin. I've gone to a lighter foundation recently and kind of liking the results, but it leaves me pasty white, so I need a bronzer. And a lot of the bronzers out there are just a little too dark for me, or they're a little too orangey. So I wanted to share a few that have different price points. Not super high-end. So more recently, a couple of the bronzers that I was using were a little bit on the dark end. So I had this one from Paula's Choice. Recently they came out with one that I'll put a picture of it up in this corner. Actually, the one they have now is called Sun Kiss, and it's got two colors in it. This one's a little on the dark side, so I'll show you how I use something darker, because those of us who are fair, you might want to actually have two different colors, light and then something a little darker. So this one that I'm loving absolutely right now is from Too Faced. Oh my gosh, it's the Milk Chocolate Bronzer. They call it the Light Matte, and I prefer a bronzer that's more matte instead of something that has some luminosity or frost to it. Just plain matte. I can put it anywhere. So this one, I'd seen it in the stores. When I signed up online on their website, they sent me a coupon for 20% off of an order, and of course then they were out of this for a long time, and the coupon expired, but I called them and they said, oh well, we'll honor it when we get it back in. Of course it was available everywhere else, at Sephora, at Ulta, where else? All over. It was like, why do you guys not have this? But finally, after about a month, they got it in and I ordered it. And it smells like chocolate. When I tested this in stores, the smell must have worn off. The nice thing is, and if you watch some of my other videos, you know that I don't like scented products, especially scented lip products, because I smell it all day. This, you smell the chocolate when you're putting it on, and then a few seconds later it goes away. You don't smell it afterward, because if I was smelling chocolate all day, I'd be eating chocolate all day. So this one is just lovely. And another that I've been using quite a bit is by Pixi from Target. This is the lighter of the two. This is the one called, and I had to write it down, Subtly Sun Touched. They've got a darker one called Summertime. And then recently on Target.com they came out with something even a little bit lighter. I don't even really call it a bronzer. But this one has a lot of fallout. So we'll see that. Well, we'll see if I can catch that on the video in a minute. And then if you really want to go for something, you just want to experiment, you really can't go wrong with e.l.f. Now this is the only bronzer I have in e.l.f. This is one, they call it St. Lucia. It comes with the bronzer and the blush. But they have some others on their website as well. They have a mineral bronzer that comes in 4 different colors, and that looks matte to me, just looking online and at the computer screen. They've got another one that's, I wrote it down, called the Baked Bronzer. That comes in 4 colors. That might not be matte. That might have a little bit of shimmer in it. But then they've got another one called the Studio Bronzer that's 4 different bronzer colors in one compact, and they've got 3 different quads. And one woman who has fair skin wrote a comment saying she likes the one called Golden. She thought it would be too dark for her because her skin is so fair, but the combination of the colors, using some in winter and some in summer, she said it worked really well. Now e.l.f., this is $3. All of their bronzers are $3. So if you just want to experiment with some things and try some out, go to Target and buy a couple. It's a great way to try the bronzer. Now if I just want to show you side by side my lightest two, I'll show my Too Faced Milk Chocolate next to the Pixi. So you can see how these contrast a little bit. So with these darker ones, what I've been doing is taking a little brush like this, and of course I already have my makeup on today, And then taking the darker and putting it down here, okay, down in this area and up in here. And then taking a big fluffy brush, or if I make it really dark, I'll take a flat brush and brush that out, or just a powder brush. Then with this milk chocolate, because it's so light and it's lovely, instead of using this brush, which I was using with my darker, even with my Pixi, which, by the way, let me see if I can show you how much fallout is in here. I don't know if you can see that, but when I blow it, there's a lot of fallout in the Pixi. Okay, and I would dabble that on here because it's so dark. But now that I'm using this lighter milk chocolate, I'm using a fluffier brush. This is an e.l.f. brush that I wasn't real thrilled with. This is the e.l.f. complexion brush. I was like, eh. It's not super dense. I like brushes that are more dense, but this one worked. So I just put a bunch on here and just whip it on, you know, in here. I already put makeup on today, so, and in here, and it just gets that pasty white look away from me. You can't, I'm not going to put on too much, and if I do, for some reason, I can take just a nice fluffy brush like this and brush some away. So it gives me a nice healthy glow. So if you're thinking I want to do that, you just want to do a light bronzer because you're fair skin, a little more higher end, this is $30, unless of course you go to toofaced.com and give them your email address. They're going to send you a coupon for 20% off, then you'll get 20% off. Or the Pixi, alright, and I'll link in the comments below. Click show more to open that up, and I'll link to where this is. Or try one or two of the e.l.f. colors. Then if you want to take it one more step to do more more of a contouring with a bronzer, you can, I'll link to the Paula's Choice that has the two colors, although because it's two, has a lighter and a darker, you might be able to get away with this being your only one. But some of these e.l.f. colors, buy a couple of those. Or if you want to buy two of these from Too Faced, then the next darker color from this is just called Chocolate. Or they also have one in this that's called Sun Bunny. Now Sun Bunny has two shades. If I remember, I'll show a picture of it up in this corner. And with two shades, you may be, the thing is, it didn't say it was matte. So it says right on their website that this one's, the milk chocolate's matte and the chocolate is matte, but it doesn't say the Sun Bunny is matte. So if you want matte, you might want to call them to ask, okay, which ones are matte, or test them out in a store just to see if you can tell. You might just, I don't know, I think a bronzer in a matte finish is a much better finish. So that's what I'm using. Again, this brush, let's go back to this just a second. If you want to do a light touch, this is an Ulta brush that I got. They call it the highlighting brush, but I don't use it for highlighting. I use it for bronzing because it's so, it's not dense, and you can just have a light touch when you put on whatever you're putting on. So I've been using it for the darker bronzer, but not that I have a lighter bronzer. Now I'm using this. So those are my picks for a few bronzers that are good for us fair skinned women at different price points, from $3 for the e.l.f. to $30 for the Too Faced, and then these two are in between, the Pixi and the Paula's. So, and a couple different brush ideas. The little one for, you know, really getting in there with a little bit of contouring with the darker, or if you're trying to do a light touch, this one, or some kind of fluffier brush. This could even be a blush brush that you use with something like this that's lighter. Alright, so those are my picks for bronzers for fair-skinned women.